All right, well, the new 4Runner has officially been revealed, and it came with a little bit of controversy. You see, Toyota was supposed to announce it at 10:15 p.m. last night, which I think is kind of a sort of a silly time to be doing it anyways, but the dummies at Forbes got it confused, AM, PM. I guess that's too difficult for their writers and their so-called journalists on that website. And they ended up leaking all of the 4Runner information 12 hours early at like 10 a.m. So somebody's getting fired. Hopefully Forbes gets the pantsuit off of them by Toyota. But anyways, we officially have the new 4Runner released. Unfortunately, I guess my invite from Toyota got lost in the mail to go down to California like all the other YouTubers got to go to. But anyways, I'll show you some of the pictures in case you've been living under a rock today and you haven't seen all of the information out there about this thing. And the first big stat, guys, this is huge. The new 4Runner is going to continue to be made in Japan, which is so important, I think, to the quality and the reputation of the Toyota 4Runner. So all the mouth breathers that were telling everybody that the 4Runner is for sure going to be built in Mexico, I guess they can shut up now. All right, so let's dig in here and see what kind of features and what kind of specs we're looking at on this new 4Runner. First of all, it's not really a surprise that the 2.4 liter four-cylinder from the new Tacoma is also going to be used in the 4Runner. We were all kind of predicting that, and I think that's okay. So it looks like the standard four-cylinder is going to put out 278 horsepower, which is about on par with the 4-liter V6 that's in the outgoing 5th gen, but where it really shines is 317 pound-feet of torque. And I don't believe the V6 was making anywhere near that much torque. But where it gets crazy though is that some of the 4Runners are going to have the optional iForce Max hybrid drivetrain that the Tacoma has. That means 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Now, that is like light years more than any 4Runner has ever made in terms of torque. 465 foot-pounds in a 4Runner, it's going to be a rocket ship, I think. There's also going to be 9 different variations of models of this new 4Runner, including a new Platinum model, which I believe is going to be sitting on top of the Limited as one step higher. So this is the first ever 4Runner Platinum, and also we're going to get the Trail Hunter as well, which is, again, not really a surprise because we have seen that with the Tacoma and the Tundra and stuff. We've also already confirmed that the rear window will continue to roll down just like all of the previous generations of 4Runner as well, which is huge because it's a big part of the 4Runner's character. They also seem to be bragging about the fact that it has an available power liftgate finally, as if that was kind of holding it back. Whatever. You can't open your own hatch? People are crazy these days. Speaking of fancy gizmos that you probably don't need, it's got a 14-inch touchscreen, again, out of the Tacoma, along with pretty much the whole interior, at least from the front seats forward. The dash, steering wheel, console, all that stuff looks to be direct carryover from the new Tacoma, which is fine. Again, we all kind of predicted that. And it looks like we're going to be seeing these 4Runners on the lots in fall of 2024, so it's really not that far away. So I guess I'm just gonna skim through the rest of this press release here just to see if there's any other facts that jump out at me. Again, as I already mentioned, the new 4Runner is gonna be built in the Tahara plant in Japan, which is a really big deal. If you watched one of my previous videos where I compared my Tacoma with my 4Runner in terms of build quality, one's built in North America, one's built in Japan, and you really can feel it when you're driving down the highway. Oh, there's something. So with a new drivetrain, and I think probably more importantly, this new TNGAF frame that is being shared throughout the whole truck lineup pretty much. The Land Cruiser, Tacoma, 4Runner, Tundra, Sequoia, they're all built on the same platform now. That means that they have bumped up the towing capacity of the new 4Runner up by 1,000 pounds, which I believe it was at 5,000 before, and the new 4Runner can now tow 6,000 pounds. I forgot to mention also it's an 8-speed automatic transmission finally, so no more 5-speed transmission that they've been using for the last, I don't know, 25 years. Now, one thing that I don't believe has been addressed yet in all of the talk, and everybody is talking about this 4Runner today, I still haven't seen any confirmation about whether or not there's going to be a 6-speed manual transmission available in this new 4Runner. I still think there's hope. I think maybe they just haven't announced it. Here it looks like we have a limited or maybe a platinum. I think it's a limited model on the right with the TRD Pro in the center and a Trail Hunter on the left. And I believe all 3 of these are new colors. I'm not sure about that light blue on the right, but we have Everest on the Trail Hunter, which I believe is a Trail Hunter specific color. I could be wrong. And then the TRD Pro, the special TRD Pro color for 2025 is going to be called Mud Bath. And it kind of looks like the previous Quicksand color, but a little bit more gray. And this is also, it's got like a metallic flake in it. So far based on what I'm seeing, I think that's the color to get. I think it looks really great. The Everest color, I'm back and forth. Every time I look at it, on one hand, I like it, and then the next time I look at it, I don't really like it. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. The interior here, again, as I mentioned, it looks like a direct copy of the Tacoma, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think this is a beautiful looking interior for sure. I think the 5th gen was leaps and bounds above the 4th gen here, like I have. And then I feel like this is much better than the 5th gen was. So I think we're seeing continuous improvement here, which, if you don't know, that's what Toyota is all about. The new seats, again, kind of carry over from the Tacoma, I believe. I do like this light brown color on. I think this is inside the limited model, but I do like the new color for sure. Now I think on all of the models except for maybe the Trail Hunter, you can get a 3rd row available. And I'm kind of curious how that works with the models that are equipped with the hybrid system, because the floor of the trunk is where the batteries are kept, and that's going to really hurt the floor space. Okay, so this is indeed a limited model. That's what the image is titled. And this is Heritage Blue. So I think, and I could be wrong, is this not the same blue from the new Land Cruiser? So okay, here's the thing. The 4Runner Limiteds, this one included, but even the 5th gens, I've never been a huge fan of. I think putting big like 20-inch wheels and what is essentially kind of like a body kit on an off-road vehicle, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not a Cadillac Escalade. It was with the 5th gen that the Limited kind of became watered down and turned into more of a city slicker. And that's what this 6th gen looks like to me as well. We've got 4 auxiliary buttons available in the dash now, and I'm sure this is probably an option depending on the model, but that is super helpful to have, because that means that you don't have to do like what I did and wire in a switch panel that you can wire all of your accessories, like your lighting or a winch or an air compressor, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to have an extra panel of switches or a module or something stuck to your dash. You can wire it directly into the truck and keep it looking completely OEM, which is really nice. We got the JBL Bluetooth speaker in the dashboard here. I'm sorry, it's stupid. Who cares? Okay, you want to listen to music at the beach and annoy everybody beside you? Well, if you want to do that, just throw a football right in front of them. Anybody that's been to the beach with a family knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is a mud bath TRD Pro model, and you can tell that by obviously the special color, but we've got the big fender flares, the TRD Pro wheels, which I believe these are wrapped with 33-inch Toyota Open Countries, which is awesome, because when the TRD Pros first came out on the Tacoma and the 4Runner, they had the off-road tuned Bilstein suspension and everything, but they still were putting very mild tires on them. And so it's nice to see like a proper AT tire on these trucks. We got a front shot here. It's kind of distant though, but we can see the front end with the rigid fog lights and the lower grille. We can see the big hood scoop on the hood, which I think is pretty cool looking. Again, with the fender flares, it all kind of ties in to give it like an extra rough and rugged appearance. I'm seeing a lot of people online complaining that it looks too much like the 4th gen. I'm not really getting that from this. I think it looks more like an updated 5th gen, really. The new taillights, I think look really good. They're a little bit small for like the size of the rear end, but it kind of looks like a 5th gen kind of got squashed a little bit. But I do like it. I like all the body lines. I like all the angles. I think the styling overall looks really good. And I like a big thing that I like is these side rear windows. It's like a throwback to the 1st and 2nd gen 4Runners, which it kind of wrapped up onto the roof a little bit. And it's cool to see them bring that back. So there you have it. There is your brand new 6th generation 2025 Toyota 4Runner. And overall, I'm a big fan. There's certain things that I'm not super excited about. This whole 4-cylinder business, man, I think I see everybody complaining about it all the time. And it's inevitable. Like, we're not going to see a V8 4Runner anymore. We're not going to see V8 trucks from Toyota anymore. Unfortunately, those days are done, because as long as there's people running the governments here in North America that believe that Chad driving his 4Runner to work 10 minutes a day and back is what's contributing to climate change, the fun days of big engines are over. That's just the way that it is. And based on the videos that I've seen of the new 4Runner, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like a 4-cylinder. And yeah, it's turbocharged, that's cool. It's better than nothing, but it doesn't sound like a V8. It's not going to sound good like that. And I think there's a lot of people that are complaining about it and just kind of kicking and screaming and punching air. you got to just get right with it, or stick to the old trucks. Keep buying these old ones like this one, because you're just not gonna be able to buy vehicles like that brand new anymore. We're lucky they're not all Teslas at this point. To be honest, I kind of been back and forth on whether or not to release this video yesterday, because I had an opportunity to beat all of the other YouTubers that are going to be unveiling the new 4Runner today, because they all signed embargo agreements and they can't break those with Toyota. And so they had to wait until the proper time to be able to reveal all this information. And I'll be honest, I thought I could take the stuff that Forbes leaked and I could be one of the first people here on YouTube to break that news. So I kind of had the two voices in my head going back and forth. What do I do? But in the end, I always try to run my business ethically. And for me, YouTube is a business. I do take it seriously. And I never chase short-term wins, especially if there's a chance that it's going to hurt me in the long run. And now that I'm really interested in doing more car reviews and stuff on this channel, I don't want to run the risk of making Toyota mad at me and getting in their bad books. And as far as I know right now, Toyota has no idea that I exist. My goal is to change that eventually. I would like to be able to get press vehicles to test out and review and get a close look of and be invited to events and stuff like that. And I just wouldn't want Toyota's first impression of me to be me getting involved in kind of screwing them over on leaked information like that. So it was a tough call. In the end, as you can see now, I'm kind of one of the last people to the party to share all of this information. But I thought you guys would be interested in hearing my take on the new 4Runner. And there's always the chance that you don't follow any other accounts or something and I'm the only one giving you information. So I did promise you guys I was going to give you all the 6th gen updates that I found, and obviously it being officially revealed is a pretty big update. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm going to keep on working away on this thing, and hopefully one day Toyota finds out that I exist. But till then, I will catch you guys in the next video. I have to admit though, guys, there's still nothing quite like the old Toyotas. Am I right or am I right?